Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Another in a special edition, and I'll explain why, of the triple option. I am here. I am your ill-equipped host, Trey Rowland, and I'm here with the brains of the operation. I'm here with the coach, Adam Brown. I'm here with the video vice lord, Kevin Little. And guys, Florida State unfortunately falls to the Clemson Tigers 34-28 on Saturday night. A promising 4-0 start erodes to 4-3. However, the Noles have a bye week. They're going to get healthy. And just give me your initial thoughts on the game before I unveil our new format. We're trying something else. It's bye week. The Noles are going to have to retool. And the triple option, we never rest on our laurels here. We've got something special for you, and we hope you like it. If you don't, you still have to sit through it anyway. Sorry. But if you do like it, we might do more. So anyway, talk about the game before I get all I'm all amped up about what we're going to do.
All right, I set the instant reaction out this week, so I'll go ahead and just give my thoughts.
Yeah, get your thought out there.
I don't know what to think about the game, and I think that's what you two kind of said in the instant reaction. I did sit and listen, tried to peruse through the YouTube comments, just to be active and involved. But yeah, I don't know. It was a weird game. We had a conversation, the three of us and Brendan earlier today, and we talked about the game, and I kind of, in my mind, I thought like for 40 minutes of the game or 35 minutes of the game, whatever, I thought Florida State hung with Clemson. I didn't think Clemson was necessarily at their A+ game, but I thought they were maybe at their A- or A. And I thought Florida State hung with them. I thought Florida State was really in there. Running game was great. They were throwing pretty well. Defensively, they were kind of hanging around. Unfortunately, some miscues in the secondary yet again, costing them. We'll get to some of that later. But then I thought Clemson found their footing and found a gear, and Florida State was unable to match. And then when they built that lead, then they kind of came back to their A game, and Florida State was able to come back on them and find some late success again and make it a tight game. I don't think the final score is indicative of the game truly, but I do think that there are some positives to take away from the football game itself for how they played up until that point where the number 4 team in the country put their foot on the gas and accelerated away from you. You can't take that first quarter, or really the first quarter and a half, first quarter and 3 minutes up to whatever it was, 2 minutes left in the first half. You can't take that away from this team. They played their asses off. They deserve a lot of credit for how they showed up and fought, especially up front. We'll talk about the offensive line play, I'm sure, but I really thought offensive line wise, they stepped up. They deserve a tip of the cap. They had their weaknesses against an elite defensive front, but for the most part, they did a really nice job. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what to really say about the game. There's a lot of back and forth and a lot of hoopla surrounding the game amongst the fan base. I'm really happy with what I saw for 40 minutes of the game. Just wish they could have played a full 60.
I think that's fair, and I think one of the reasons why it's been sort of a polarizing week on the Noles 24/7 message boards, an interesting week. So go ahead and sign up. Very cheap right now. It's the deal of a lifetime. Go up there and discuss with all the other learned Nole fans, because it's if you want to focus on the positive of the game, that game, the beginning and the end, are evidence of Florida State trending in the right direction. If you want to focus on the negative of the game, that disastrous middle is what you're going to use. So both sides of the pro and anti, like how the program's moving, they're using the same game as evidence. So it's very interesting. And it was a tale of two games, and just we'll get into it. But
Yep.
Kevin, how do you feel? Any different than what it's still perplexing, and there's a lot of ways, which is good that it's not all it leaves a little bit of ambiguity on how Florida State can finish out these final 5 games, which are of paramount importance. But we've seen them. They've got the talent, and they've got the ability, and they've got the coaching, I think, to really make a very substantial run at these 5.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Every one of the next 5 are winnable, and Florida State might be favored in each of the next 5. And so that's really where the money's going to be made. But I think you saw for 30 minutes of this game that Florida State under Mike Norvell, if you get the depth and you get the top end talent that that some coaches are able to attract to a place like Florida State, then I think you have the coaching and the foundational stuff to be able to compete with top 5 teams. which is where Florida State needs to be. It's just whether or not you can get that top talent in, whether or not you can kind of make a strong statement in this season and then get that recruiting class. So a lot to be said about this team. We're still about only halfway to 2/3 of the season, but this break and what Florida State does after the break is going to be huge. But I think it's worth taking a look at this Clemson game.
I think so too. We are in a very unique way. And I agree with you, Kev. I think they've got all the tools necessary. I think they have most of the coaching and most of the areas to get it done. And just got to clean up that situational football, man. It's still a bugaboo. And it's weird because it's something different every week. But this game, I think, even though the reaction to it, I think, is a little bit confusing, the game itself was very cut and dry, black and white. Great first quarter with some great diversity of scheme. I hope you never have to hear this phrase again. The middle 8 was a nightmare. I know. I'm sorry, guys.
Middle 8 and slow mesh. I'm over it.
I know, dude. They're awful. But the middle 8 was a nightmare. You know that. And then Florida State crept back in and made it close. However, they did such a poor job in the middle of the game that the hole was insurmountable. It's pretty easy to know how that game went. So doing a full film review, I don't think would be that instructive. So we are trying to do something a little bit different. We're going to provide you guys with a fun highlight of the entire game, encapsulate it. And then at the end of the game, our two analysts extraordinaire, Kevin and Adam, are going to pick out some plays that they thought were very important, very indicative of the game as a whole, and stuff that Florida State can use to extrapolate on the back half of the season to either continue or improve upon. So it's a little bit different. It's going to be kind of like your own personal Noles 24/7 version of Sports Center. So if you like it, let us know in the comments. We didn't want to talk about this game for 90 minutes. We didn't want to bore you to death. So we're going to try something different in the bye week. So first, we're going to do a highlight. I'm going to be reliving, just I guess living, because I never lived it in the first place. My Sports Center, in my dreams, I guess, my Sports Center anchor fantasy. So we're going to have a little highlight, and then we're going to let the two boys that know what they're talking about break down some plays that really were indicative of what happened on Saturday night. So Kevin, let me get ready here. All right, man, I'm ready to go. Pull up that highlight. Just play the music. Here we go. Noles taking on the number 4 ranked Clemson Tigers. First round mid-season. The family proud, putting down more Tigers than Joe Exotic. FSU in a unique set. Travis takes the snap. All those beautiful options with Jordan. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's all about him. He takes it to the house. Oh, no, you didn't. Florida State with the early lead. Hey, 1st and 10, DJ Schmagegi. He takes the snap. He's got a blitz from the edge. Kevin Knowles tries to get acute with the angle. He probably should have went obtuse. Disgustingly open bomb, and the Tigers answer. Ooh. 14-7. Knowles now. Dabo's boys in the red zone. Motion out of the backfield. DJ has enough time to file his NIL taxes and finds one of Clemson's 300 shifty white wide receivers for the touchdown. 17-14. The Noles need some points before halftime, but Jordan Travis coughs up the ball like a warm shot of Goldschlager. Niche Keat, Noles. Niche Keat. 47 seconds left, and Will Shipley knifes his way through the Florida State defense like a hot Michael Myers through promiscuous high schoolers. Ouch. Next play, Clemson and DJ Uyunglele walking through untouched like the potato salad at an office potluck. Come on, Noles. What are you doing, man? Second half. Clemson winning the battle of the middle ocho. Luckily, FSU's kick coverage has been a strength all year, so nothing to worry about, Noles fans. What do you guys? No, that's not what you do. What are you guys doing? Get it! Tackle him! This isn't what you got. Come on, man! Unreal. Huge special teams play. Clemson up 10. They are smelling blood. You got whoop. Hey, he's got whoop. What? Hey! Whoa! No! The fleas have been flicked. Dabo is happy. I am morose. Tigers 31, Noles 14. It's looking untenable. 3rd and goal. Noles down 20. Jordan Travis swiping right on his dope tender and finding his man, Ja'Kai Douglas. 34-21. Getting closer, boys. Little over 2 minutes remaining. Noles down 13. No chance, and wait just a damn minute. Kentron, Sidney Poitier, the Noles have life, baby. They got a chance, guys. They got a chance. FSU needs the onside kick to extend the game, and the bounce is just quite not there. The Tigers wrench another victory away from the good people of Tallahassee and Leon County. Mike Norvell hugs a very large DJ Schmagegi. The Noles lose their 7th in a row to Clemson, and I am hating life. I need a drink.
Well done, Trey. Well done.
Thank
you.
done.
As always.
Thank you, guys.
I mean, that really does. That
You
was a
saw
game
it
in
all
a
there.
nutshell.
You saw
That was
it
a
all
name.
there.
That was the game in a nutshell. It was a 2.5 minute highlight tape, and it really captured the entire mood of the game. Hot start, cold middle, hot finish. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a lasagna that you try to heat up in the microwave, right? Really hot on the outsides, but that middle is just ice cold, baby.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks, buddy. Now I think that I wish, obviously, and I'm glad I didn't butcher any more of the game tape with my commentary, but I was really encouraged. We talked about after the NC State game that we thought if Florida State had got a little bit stale on the offensive side of the ball, was Florida State an easy scout? And I have to say that I was extremely impressed with the formational diversity, the different types of plays they were running, the different options off of it. They really put Clemson on their toes, running under center, running out of the pistol, ways that, and I can't wait for you guys to break this stuff down, that they were kicking Clemson's defensive line's ass a little bit, man. 200 yards rushing against a team that averages 60. That's insane, man. So you got to tip your cap. Now, obviously, we'll see why and go from there. And that middle 8, man, it was just as bad as advertised, if not more. Clemson sucked the life out of that stadium. And you could tell a lot of fans left. And I don't know if I particularly blame them too much. It looked like it could have gotten really bad. Like take your shirt off and read Moby Dick in the stands as an old real estate professor bad, right? But it didn't. So I think it's time to let you guys, the real experts, pick some plays that you think were indicative. Kevin, I'll let you take the first one. Pick a play that you think was really indicative and just break it down. Little yellow squigglies everywhere of what you think really stood out to you watching this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of recruit AB early to help me out here because I do agree with you. I think that this game was made or broke. Our Florida State's offensive game plan was kind of dictated by being able to run the football. So this is going to make AB happy. The first play, you got an end zone view. This is Florida State's main running play was outside zone. So in outside zone, the running back's going to stretch the field horizontally. All these offensive linemen are going to step horizontally. And if they have someone head up or to their play side, they will try to beat that person to the sideline and pin them inside. If that defender tries to instead sprint outside, then they'll post outside and leave a cutback lane. So that's the basics of how it works. But in the first half, it seemed like Florida State was fairly successful.
All right, before you press play, I think the important thing to note is the positioning of the two safeties. Clemson played defensively with two high safeties for a lot of the game.
Yep.
Something we've talked about with Florida State quite a bit, being content with daring teams to run, trying to force teams to run the football. Florida State's known for their explosive plays in the passing game. I think Clemson had a mindset that they were not going to let Florida State beat them deep down the field with explosive passes. They were going to be okay with if they had some running success. I don't think they were expecting this kind of running success, but I think Clemson was going to be okay with letting Florida State try to run the football. And they thought that their defensive line would be able to win enough, and I think that they thought their offense would be successful enough to outscore Florida State. I don't think that they were expecting 200 yards rushing in the game, but I do think it's important to note that Clemson played with two high safeties quite a bit.
Yeah, I was definitely going to bring that up, and they were okay with this. So just to kind of illustrate why it's important that these two safeties are back. So two safeties being back means that they most likely will not be able to cover every gap. So the gaps are the areas in between the players. So you have if we kind of draw a line for each one of these gaps, there's one gap that you can't fill if you have two safeties back in general. It's a generalized statement, but for the most part, that's true. So that means that if you're able to get a man block on each person across the line of scrimmage. There's no one to account for the running back.
Yep.
So
Florida
they're
State's got a
counting.
7-man blocking surface.
Yep.
Which means they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 gaps that need to be defended.
Yep.
And Clemson's got 7 guys to defend those 8 gaps. So just as Kev was pointing out, what I love, and I'm going to be very frustrated if they go away from this. We were going to keep this short-winded, but it is what it is. Jordan Travis being under center, Trey Benson with a quarterback under center, I think it fits his game really well. I think it fits Trey Benson's game really well. Getting downhill, keeping his pads squared. I do think sometimes out of the shotgun, he struggles a little bit with being able to do that. I thought getting under center was really smart for them. It let him hit outside zone a little bit quicker. And there you see the safety trying to come downhill. You get a stiff arm on him. You get that open gap to Kev. They don't have a defender to be in there. They're counting on their defensive line winning. Maurice Smith does a great job. Robert Scott gets a turnout. Preston Daniel up on Barrett Carter. Dimitri Emmanuel, a player who struggled recently, does a great job on the backside getting a seal. We'll see Jazz as we go here, but he's probably going to loop behind that. Yep, he does. He's going to help out to make sure that he didn't come off of that. They get that backer sealed off on the backside. And again, it's Trey Benson one-on-one with a safety, 5 yards down the field. He gets a stiff arm, runs to an arm tackle.
Yep, that's how it's drawn up. You need to be able to do this if they're going to sit too high, or else you won't be able to win the football.
I'm with you. I'm with you too, Adam. I'd like to see a lot of this stuff carry over into future contests.
You should never go away from. You should never go back. You cannot go
successful.
back.
Too successful, especially if the blueprint the teams think to beat you is to have too high safeties and dare you to run. Now you can. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah,
this is the same concept. I was just going to show it while you guys were talking. They're still keeping 2 high safeties, different time. Notice there's 5 blockers for 5 defenders in the box. They're playing man coverage on the outside.
And you're likely reading one of those defenders, correct? I mean, I would assume.
You might be. Yeah. So Jordan Travis is even reading this guy. So you actually have 5 blockers for 4 defenders.
Yep.
Which you'll take that all day.
You can already see the open gap developing on the left side there between Scott and Gibbons.
Yeah, it's kind of glitched here, but you can see where it's going to hit. And I mean, it might seem like it's dumb for Clemson to do this, but they're betting that their defensive line will beat Florida State's offensive line.
Yep.
Because
Florida State's offensive line just got whipped in the second half against NC State.
And Wake Forest the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's on film for these guys. So this was an impressive performance by them, and that's why I say tip the cap to them, because they bounced back after 2 struggling performances in the last 2 games, where really we were sitting here questioning, Jazz Turrentine. And I'm not going to say Jazz played great, but he played better than he has. You got Robert Scott back last week, but they really came out and kind of solidified and made themselves a strength in this game, I thought.
Yeah, I think so too. And they put their offensive linemen in spots to really succeed, do a lot of things that Clemson doesn't have tape on. They don't have tape of that under center stuff.
No,
they don't have tape of Micah Pittman and Ja'Kai Douglas in the backfield with the running back and all the different options and screens and everything like that. Like I said, the first couple drives were called really masterfully. And I think that second touchdown drive was like a 90 plus yarder. That's crazy, dude, to sustain a drive of that length and caliber against Clemson's defensive line that's been healthier than they have all year. This stuff's got to carry. I'm with you, Adam. It's got to carry over. Some of that.
If it doesn't, I'm going to be doing a lot of screaming.
We don't want that. You've got a big baritone voice. Kevin, what else do you have, buddy? What other some indicative plays of the game?
So they went to this little set where they motioned Pittman usually into the backfield. I think they'll put Douglas back there as well. And kind of got this, 2 running back set. And here they're going to be running outside zone again, and they're going to be reading, I think, this defender. Maybe they're reading this in man here. But Jordan Travis keeps this, and it's just such a dangerous, if you're going to keep 2 safeties back, having Jordan Travis as a capable runner, it just makes life a lot easier. You saw later in this formation's really neat because it allows you to kind of run some triple option stuff directly out of it. They tried to run that later in the game. Biscuit gets blown up on a block, and they weren't able to run it successfully, but it's something that they're working on, and I think this is something that could be a benchmark of the offense moving forward. Yeah, this is just an outside zone. He's reading this defensive end since he crashes down. He pulls it and makes a play in open space. There's a defender to account for Jordan Travis here, and he still is able to get by him and score a touchdown.
Yeah, one of the best linebackers in the country, Barrett Carter. He makes him look foolish.
Jordan was a much more determined runner this game. And I really think that added a new dynamic to the offense. So if you can add that with his improved ability as a passer, got to keep him healthy. Got to keep 13 healthy the whole time. But man, that looked good. That looked good. I think those first couple drives are repeatable, especially against the level of competition you'd be playing on the back end. Anything else you got, Kevin, as far as that you guys want to diagram out and see that things that, Florida State can carry forward into the final 5 games of the year, some things to clean up on? I mean, when FSU lost on offense, they lost because of the Clemson defensive line. And there were some plays where our guys got erased, but
we probably got another handful, right?
This is the key one, right?
Is this the fumble?
Yeah, this is the fumble.
Okay.
So what's
17-14, minute left in the half. Rob Scott just gets beat by an All-American defensive end. And, what's frustrating is he gets beat so quickly that I don't think Jordan's prepared for it. There's not really any place to go on this play because of the angle in which he gets around Scott. So I think some people say, oh, he needs to step up here. I don't think there's a lot of room for him to step up into. I mean, there's a little bit, but Emmanuel's getting pushed into his lap. I don't buy there's much really any place for him to go. I don't think he can get out the left side here because of where Scott's at in the angle that is that Murphy. Yeah, it's Murphy. The angle that Murphy has on him. I don't think there's, I think people would see that window right there and say, oh, he could get out to the left. I don't think he actually can. I think that looks good on TV. I don't think that space is actually available because of where Emmanuel is and where Robert Scott is also. And Murphy's already on him. And this happens in 2 seconds. You're not expecting that as a quarterback. I thought he was loose with the football. They had a good shot, a good close-up shot of him. Kevin, maybe you could talk about, kind of where the ball should be.
Yeah, so if the video stops glitching out on me here for a second. You should be holding the ball towards your chest. It's hard to kind of make out. Yeah, he's holding it. He gets it kind of low.
Yeah. He gets it down around his waist, and it's out away from his body. You want that ball to be tight to your chest, up at the chest plate. He's got it real low, loose. It was bad technique on his part. He's trying to step up. It's not available. He drops the ball when he does.
Can you play that in real time again, too, just to see how quick Murphy was on him?
Yeah, here's real time.
I wish it would stop glitching. 1001, 1002.
Yeah. And he gets caught right. Yeah, he's trying to take off with it. It's just a good tackle. That's a great play by that Clemson defensive line.
Yeah, it's just dumb luck. I mean, ball bounces right to 13.
With less than a minute to go.
But this is where Trey talked about situational football. I don't know if we have the ensuing play or not. We have a couple more, I'm sure, but I don't know if we have the next one. But in situational football, 50-some seconds left in the game, you can't let them drive down and get a touchdown. You got to hold them to a field goal there. Defense has got to step up, but it doesn't.
Huge chunk play.
They go up a chunk run to Shipley, and that's just happening far too often.
Yeah, so I guess that's a good segue. So Florida State's offense moved the ball, but when they couldn't, it felt like it was because you couldn't run it, couldn't push their defensive line. So we talked about earlier, Clemson was keeping 2 safeties back. And I know a lot of people are upset. Why do you end up throwing the ball on the goal line? Why are you throwing the ball on 4th and 2?
Very upset.
So here's the thing. When Clemson was able to kind of stack the box, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have enough people for the gaps here, right? This guy's kind of playing outside contain. They have 1-for-1 here. When they were able to do that, Florida State wasn't running the football.
No.
When Florida State had a numbers advantage, they can run the football.
I mean, look at Murphy, just destroys Biscuit.
Do you really think there's a better chance that this is a touchdown than tossing it up to Johnny Wilson?
Oh man, there's
That's
so
debatable,
much white there,
right?
Yeah.
No, the frustrating part is the first throw was not great by Jordan. I thought he threw a little far. The second throw was on Johnny Wilson. He doesn't run a good route, and we've seen him run good routes on these fade balls. You're expecting him to run a good route. It's a perfect football. Johnny doesn't run a good route, and it ends up hitting the ground. It should have been a touchdown. He had the dude beat. He just doesn't do a good job up front. There's so much hand wringing about play calling. You're not going to call every play perfect, but inside the red zone, they are still limited. They can't outman people yet.
So now that we're talking about play calling, I kind of want to talk about one more thing that was often criticized about this game. So here's that part of that 90 play drive we were just talking about. So this is what's called a smash concept, where you've got a corner route and a flat route, and your Clemson played a lot of cover 2, like straight country cover 2, with straight zone droppers, right? So you can kind of see what that looks like here, where this corner has the flats. So he's going to take this defender that's going to the flats. And that means that this corner route gets to run away from the safety, and it's a pretty wide open throw. So they hit this pretty earlier in the game against Clemson's cover 2 when they needed a chunk play. And it's the perfect call against cover 2, right? So you're able to get that 15-yard, pretty easy completion against cover 2. Then you jump forward in the game to 4th and 2. Clemson's in cover 2 again. So you'll be able to see it here immediately off the snap. It's the same smash concept where Johnny Wilson's running a corner route, and you've got a flat route over here. And this corner looks like he's playing up on the flat route, like he just did in the play before. They're playing the same defense they did in the play before, and this is the same route concept. So this right here, he's still in line here, right? You're worried about throwing this flat route because this guy's going to jump that. That's what Jordan Travis sees. And so at this point, Jordan Travis recognizes the same coverage, same post-snap coverage, and he throws the corner. So I guess people are going to be kind of upset that I guess the running back is out here. But his initial read was that the corner was going to be up here on the flats and going to probably make that tackle.
He throws the ball too flat, and he throws it late, in my opinion.
He throws it flat and late. The problem's not with the play call. It's kind of with the throw, because he throws it instead of leading it out here away from this safety in this corner. He kind of throws it flat and short, where this corner can kind of short play it and then make a break on it. And that's what
he's got to deliver it to the sideline high. You're throwing it to Johnny Wilson.
Yeah, to me, this is the right read.
This is a completion.
It's a bad throw.
Yep, I agree.
Do you guys like the call there?
And maybe
you like the call there?
Yeah, I was fine with the call.
Yeah,
you can't kick a field goal there.
You could have tried to run it. I would not have been opposed to a running play in this situation, but if you're going to throw a passing play, they're running cover 2. This is the perfect call for it.
And let's look at the kickoff return if we've got that available.
Oh, we got that available.
Why,
couple defensive plays. As much as I hate special teams, this has been the strength of their team all year. The coverage teams, they've been great at it. The effort on this is just piss poor. Here's a horrible effort. There's a horrible effort. Here comes another 2 horrible efforts.
Oh, that one was I guess that was the kicker, but still.
Jamie quits. Look, Jamie quits running. We've seen this from him before. I'm not happy with that. And I've been the number one Jamie fan on this of anybody in the beat. That's unacceptable for him. He's got to keep running, and it takes Kalen DeLoach running him down.
Oh,
that's too much piss poor effort out of your DB room.
It looked like Knowles had him around the 20, right?
Knowles
3.
Knowles had him wrapped up right around.
Jones has got to do a better job of squeezing that, but he does a good effort to try to get back on the play. Knowles is there. They got to make that play right there.
Yeah, I mean, if you tackle this here, you got them down before the 20-yard line.
DeLoach is walking. There's a lot of quit on that play right there. DeLoach kind of starts walking.
Yeah.
thinking somebody else is going to make the play. You can't expect other guys to make the play, and we did a little bit of that in chunks against Clemson. That's going to get you killed.
Yeah, especially
I'm not
someone
expecting
like
the kicker to make
Shipley,
the
that's not
tackle.
going to go down easy.
Yeah, he's a hoss.
That's that situational stuff, man. That one is frustrating because that really is a case of they're all in the same spot where the coaches expected them to be, and they have been all year. And in the most important situation,
Yeah, that's an effort play.
yeah,
That's an effort play. That's what it boils down to.
That's
And so
disappointing.
I got a feeling some feeling got hurt on that one in the film room.
I kind of want to extend this conversation. You kind of see number 3 here, Kevin Knowles, struggling throughout the game, kind of being soft like we saw in that kick return. And Clemson kind of attacked it. So this is 2nd and 16. This is just going to be a pitch play. And Florida State's playing man, and they're just being blocked up. And it's on Kevin Knowles here to kind of set this edge and set things back inside. You see the other two are kind of fighting for position, but Knowles here kind of, I don't know. It just doesn't.
Well, I don't know if we get lined up right. They've got a quads look down here with a wing. I'm not sure we're not outflanked from the jump, which
I mean, he's got an angle. He's got
aggravating. Yeah, I think we're lined up wrong to start, but
they've got angles, but
the point still stands.
The point still stands. He needs to come up, make this, give his safety time to help out.
Yeah.
Somebody does. I mean, at least I think Brown takes the wrong route. I think he's probably supposed to set the edge and turn him back inside.
You got to work over. You got to fight under. That's a lazy path.
And then Knowles is nowhere to be seen. He has eyes there the whole time. And he's just
fighting there. He does try to force it back inside, but
7 yards downfield.
And then is that Dent comes in with his head down?
Yeah, that's Dent again. Just
he missed a lot of tackles on the game, which is frustrating.
It's just this soft thing.
He's missed a lot of tackles this year. He's got his head down, coming in low.
That's way too easy for the offense, guys. That's too much space. And like you said, if it's an alignment thing, and that's a coaching issue as well. Knowles and Brown didn't play it well.
About accountability. There's got to be some accountability for that play right there because that's not good enough.
No, and that's not putting – the guys didn't have the best effort there or the best technique, but they were not put in the best spot to succeed.
Yeah,
now,
I agree.
But I don't know. That's
I'll argue
just as much on coaching, right? You think, or you don't think so?
No, I think it is. I think it's a little all the above.
This is the same formation by Clemson, and Florida State's set up the same way.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got man-on blockers here.
I mean, you can't overplay too much because they have the ability to run counter backside. I mean, you have to. You can't you can't get everybody out of the box.
But you see pitch here, and you can trigger.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's not
physical. And be physical and forcing with the guys in front of you. Like Shaheem Brown does a much better job this play.
Right. Now he took the outside path.
Yep.
This is later in the game. They've seen this before. They made an adjustment. He takes the outside path. He doesn't open it up easy.
He's more physical and forcing.
I was being tough on Knowles, but
is that Vance?
Brady Vance is being blocked downfield here. So that is a hard play to get to, but
who was this coming through the alley? A.Z. Thomas. There's a big difference. Now A.Z. Thomas is back at safety, which is interesting.
Right.
And look at him come force it as opposed to what we saw from Akeem Dent earlier coming in with his head down.
Yeah, and he's there. It's the difference between if you're going to play passive here and commit to the run 6 yards downfield, you don't buy time for your defensive ends and linebackers to kind of get there.
Yeah.
But just that extra 1 or 2 yards of being aggressive means that
10-yard gain is now a 3-yard gain. I think he deserves a shout out there.
Yeah, fought through it. Yeah, really well. Absolutely.
It just seems like there's a little more want to there for some reason. I don't know what that's about. I don't know why that is.
Effort and technique need to be consistent over the game. I'm with it that those 3 plays were indicative, and especially those last 2, just the difference in a 12-yard gain and a 2-yard gain.
And we're spending a lot of time pointing out Kevin Knowles and Akeem Dent. I mean, I think they're both really good football players.
Yeah. They are.
I think it's fair to say both things, that they're really good players. But in this instance, and really for Kevin Knowles for the season, he's had a rough season. It hasn't been the sophomore season I think that people were hoping you were going to get out of him. I'm not 100% sure why that is. I think he's fought through some stuff, but still, you're out there. I mean, you've got to give it. You got to give it for your team, for your squad. And if you're not going to do that, maybe we need to see more Greedy Vance in the nickel. Maybe we need to see more AZ Thomas. Maybe we need to find some other options.
Integrate some young guys who will play a little bit more physical. The communication issues are happening even with the veterans in the backfield anyway. So, I mean, it depends. There's a whole lot of there's a whole host of options in these last 5 games for people to look at and for coaches to pull the trigger on. Like you said, I thought it was interesting to see a little bit AZ Thomas at safety there. Kevin, any other plays you want to go over that you think would be vital to see for these next 5 games coming up?
No, I think that kind of covers what we were thinking about this team, right? So on offense, your running game was going because kind of Clemson was playing soft, but you were still blocking one-on-one blocking Clemson's defensive front, which is a massive improvement from 2 years ago when Notre Dame could put 3 in the box and shut you down.
How about from 2 games ago when Wake had 6 in the box and they were making you look awful.
Yeah.
I think you can look at that. You can see the soft play on defense and be bummed and feel like they're not being put in a position to succeed. But then later on, it's the same formation and a little bit more aggressiveness, just that trigger and something's changed. So hopefully you see more of the latter than the former. But it's just it feels like there's just these drives, these series of drives, these plays where it's just, you're not getting consistency. And maybe that's a depth issue. Maybe that's kids just getting worn down by the end of half and not being kind of as sharp as they are, when the emotion is high. But I don't know what the answer is.
There's a lot of focus too. There is a talent to being able to play your best football for 60 minutes. And teams like Clemson have it. Teams like Clemson know that if you take your foot off the gas at all, we're going to bury you at some point in this game because we never stop. We're unrelenting. Florida State's problem is they're not consistent yet. They are not unrelenting. They relent at least at one point during every single game, because if they kept consistent effort, who knows what their record could be. But they're not there yet, and that's an acquired skill that can do some good learning over these past 5 games. Adam, anything else before we wrap up this very unique and I thought very successful new episode of the Triple Option?
No, I don't think so. I think we got our point across with kind of our synopsis of the game and what we felt about a lot of the stuff that was going on. I'm going to be frustrated if they go back to a more generic style. Not that it's generic, but a more generic brand of offense. I think you found some things that you could really build on, because you need to go out and get these last 5 games. If you go backwards there, I'm going to be aggravated. Defensively, I would say you're either coaching it or you're allowing it. They really need to spend their focus this week self-scouting, finding their weaknesses, and going out and trying to make those strengths in the last 5 games.
I think that is perfectly said. Well, guys, if you enjoyed this format, let us know. As always, subscribe. We're going to be doing some more bi-week content. I think we may have a round table coming up sometime this week. Everybody loves the old round table. So we're going to be doing that. So subscribe, Knowles247.com. They got a great promotion right now, so be on the lookout for that. Subscribe to the X's and Knowles YouTube page, the Knowles247 YouTube page. Please, in the comments below, let us know if you like the new format. It was something we just wanted to try different from the bi-week, and I hope you guys did like it because I had a lot of fun. So for the guy who had fun, Trey Rowland, and for the guys who are smart, Coach Adam Brown, Kevin Little, this is another edition of the Triple Option. Enjoy your bye week, ladies and gentlemen. Rest, hydrate, and we will see you against Georgia Tech. Keep chopping.